Dear students, in this video, we are going to start voltage and current division rule. So we will start with the voltage division rule. Voltage division rule कहाँ पर अप्लाई होगा? वोल्टेज डिवीजन हम किस टाइप के सर्किट में अप्लाई कर सकते हैं? ये सारी बातें हम यहाँ पर समझेंगे विद थियोरेटिकल पार्ट एंड देन न्यूमेरिकल पार्ट. सो हमें पता है जब भी या फिर दो से ज्यादा रेजिस्टेंसेस सीरीज में कनेक्टेड होंगे तो वहां पर हमें वोल्टेज डिवाइड रूल अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा. Suppose that we have this circuit. In this circuit, this terminal is connected with any battery V volt. This resistance is R1. This resistance is R2. We have these two resistances are in series. हमें पता है सीरीज होने की क्या कंडीशन है. सीरीज अगर हम किसी भी दो या दो से ज्यादा रेजिस्टेंसेस को बोल रहे हैं कि दे आर इन सीरीज, तो हम वहां पर कुछ ऐसा बता रहे हैं कि करंट हमारी विदाउट डिवाइड हुए फ्लो कर रही है सेम पाथ में. इसका मतलब जो करंट R1 रेजिस्टेंस के थ्रू जाएगी वही करंट हमारी रेजिस्टेंस R2 के थ्रू होते हुए भी जाएगी. सपोज वी हैव द करंट हियर I, so the current I is flowing through the R1 and as well as current I flow through the R2. हमेशा इस बात को ध्यान रखते हुए करंट हमेशा सीरीज सर्किट में सेम होती है और पैरेलल सर्किट्स में करंट हमेशा डिवाइड हो जाती है. अगर हम यही बात वोल्टेज की टर्म में करें तो वोल्टेज हमेशा पैरेलल सर्किट्स में सेम होता है, सीरीज सर्किट में वोल्टेज हमेशा डिवाइड हो जाता है. तो मतलब जहां पे रेजिस्टेंसेस हमें सीरीज में दिखाई दे रहे हैं वहां पे हमारा वोल्टेज डिवाइड होता हुआ दिखाई दे रहे हैं. तो सबसे पहले स्टार्ट करते हैं. छोटे छोटे एजम्पशंस हैं. जैसे मैंने एज्यूम कर लिया यहाँ पर R1 रेजिस्टेंस के अक्रॉस जो वोल्टेज ड्रॉप हो रहा है दैट इज V1, R2 रेजिस्टेंसेस के अक्रॉस जो वोल्टेज ड्रॉप हो रहा है दैट इज V2. सो द ओवरऑल वोल्टेज V इज इक्वल टू V1 प्लस V2. ऐसा हम शो कर सकते हैं. एंड द करंट I इज फ्लोइंग थ्रू द R1 एंड R2. सो अगर हमें यहाँ पर ओम्स लॉ का यूज करें बाई लॉ, तो हम यहाँ पर कुछ ऐसा बोल सकते हैं V इज इक्वल टू I into R1 plus I into R2. So we can take I as a common R1 plus R2. And we know V is equal to I into R. So we can write here R is equal to R1 plus R2, and R is what? R is basically the R equivalent of R1 and R2. So now if we want to find V1 by using voltage divider rule, if we want to find V1, then we can write V1 is equal to I into R1. But R1 is what? R1 basically एज इट इज रहेगा हमारे पास, और हम यहाँ पर आई को थोड़ा सा चेंज करेंगे. आई को हम लोग यहाँ पर क्या लिख सकते हैं? आई को हम लोग लिख सकते हैं आई इज इक्वल टू V डिवाइडेड बाई R1 plus R2 from this part of equation. We can write I here. Here I is equal to V divided by R1 plus R2. V multiply by R1 divided by R1 plus R2. This is the voltage across resistance R1 after dividing. Similarly, we can say V2 is equal to I into R2. So I can be written as V divided by R1 plus R2, so that the final expression will be R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into V. This is the V2. V2 is equal to R1 plus R2 into V, and V1 is equal to R1 divided by R1 plus R2 into. So this is the final voltage after dividing across resistance R1 and resistance R2. Now we will understand this concept by some example part. So let us move towards the example. So this is the example of voltage divider rule. यहाँ पर हमें R1 is equal to ohm, R2 is equal to 300 ohm and V is equal to 10 volt. कुछ इस तरह से डाटा दिया हुआ है. हमें फाइंड आउट करना है R2 के अक्रॉस जो वोल्टेज है वो वैल्यू. सो जस्ट assume current I is flowing here. This current I is equal to what? This is V divided by R1 plus R2. So it will be V यानी कि 10 divided by R1 यानी कि 100 plus R2 is equal to 300. So it will be 10 divided by 400 means 1 divided by 40 ampere. So now this is the value of I and we want to find V output. V output is equal to current I multiplied by R2. So it will be I divided by 40 into 300. So it will be 30 divided by 4 and 7.5 volt voltage is across the resistance R2. Similarly, if we want to find the voltage across R1, that is V1, so V1 will be equal to I into R1 and it will be 1 upon 40 multiplied by 100. So it will be 10 divided by 4, that is 2.5. Now if we want to verify our answer, we can add 2.5 plus 7.5, that must be equal to voltage V. So this is 2.5 plus 7.5 and 10 and our V is equal to 10. So our these answers are right. The information, there is a voltage divider circuit in which it is desired to obtain 3 divided by 4 volt as a V output. So find R2 if R1 is equal to 100 ohm. As we know, in voltage divider circuit, in voltage divider network or circuit, I is equal to V divided by R1 plus R2. Is equal to R2 divided by R1 plus R2. As we have already discussed in the previous page, V2 is equal to R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into overall V. In the problem statement, there is a given, it is desired to obtain 3 divided by 4 volt. 3 divided by 4 volt voltage has to be obtained across R2 resistance, that is we have assumed V2. So 3 divided by 4 volt V is equal to R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into. So now we can cancel out V to V. So it will be R2 divided by R1 plus R2 is equal to 3 divided by 4. It will be 4R2 is equal to 3R1 plus 3R2. From here we can say R2 is equal to 3R1. If R1 is equal to 100, then R2 will be 3 into 100 or equal 300 is equal to 300 ohm. So the first part was finding the R2. So this is done. Now come to the second. R2 and RL are in parallel. So we can first find R2 equivalent. So what will be the R2 equivalent? It will be R2 into RL divided by R2 plus R2 is 300 multiplied by RL. RL is what? 10 kilo ohm, and 10 into 1000 whole divided by 10,000 plus 300. So it will be 300 into 10,000 divided by 10,300. So these two zeros will be cancelled by this. So when we solve it finally, it will be 291.2. Oh, this is the effective R2. Now we will use the voltage divider rule. Now the new R2 is 291.26. So we can write the V2 new is equal to R2 equivalent divided by R1 plus R2 equivalent into V. V is this. So R2 equivalent is 291.26 divided by R1 is what? R1 is 100 ohm plus 291.26 is V. So when you solve it, you will get 0.744. So now they want to ask percentage change in output voltage. Percentage change in output voltage is equal to E divided by 4 V minus 0.744 V divided by 3 divided by 4 V into 100. So it will be 0.75 volt minus 0.744 volt multiplied by V divided by 0.75 V into 100. So what will be the percentage change? It will be when we divide this by, when we divide numerator by denominator, so we will get 0.8. So this is the change in percent. 0.8% voltage will be changed when we add parallelly one more resistance, that is RB. So now towards the second part where RL is equal to 1 kilo ohm. The calculation will be same. So just find R2 equivalent. It will be 300 is in parallel with 1 kilo ohm. So it will be 300 into 1 into 1000 divided by 300 plus 1000. It will be 300 into 1000 divided by 1300. These two zeros will cancel out. It will be 230.77. So now find the V2 new, or you can say V output new is equal to 77 divided by 100 plus 230.77. Then multiply by it will be 0.698. So now find change in output voltage. Change in output voltage will be equal to 0.75 minus 0.698 V, and the percentage change will be equal to 0.75 minus 0.698 divided by 0.75 into 100. So V divided by V, it will be cancelled out. So this will be equal to 6.93% change in the output voltage. So this was the final So this was the final answer. When we are attaching parallelly one more resistance, that is 1 kilo ohm. So now we have learned about this voltage divider rule. Now we have to move towards the current division rule. How the current divide in a electrical network. Current division rule. As we have already discussed about that, current division कहाँ पर होने वाला है? जब हमारे रेजिस्टेंसेज पैरेलली कनेक्ट होंगे तो वहां पर हमें करंट डिवीजन जैसी बात देखने को मिलेगी. जैसे कुछ इस तरह से. Suppose these two resistances are connected in this pattern. This is resistance R1, this is resistance R2, and the current I is coming from this side. So some of the current will divide into R1 and some of the current will go to the R2. But we have to find out the value of I1 and I2. So here I1 will be equal to V divided by R1, and here V is equal to, like this, R1 into R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into overall current I. Here I1 is equal to V divided by R1 and I2 is equal to V divided by R2. So let us derive it. First, as we know, I is equal to I1 plus I2. But I1 is what? I1 is basically V divided by R1 and I2 is equal to what? That is V divided by R2. And this overall I is equal to what? V divided by R equivalent. So we can write R equivalent is equal to R1 into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. And right here I1 is equal to V divided by R1. We know V is equal to what? We know equal to I into R equivalent. So from here, just put it here, I into R equivalent divided by R1. And we know R equivalent is what? R equivalent is actually R1 into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So this R1 will be cancelled out this and it will be R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into I. This is the current I1. So the current I1 is equal to R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into overall current I. Similarly, we can write I2 is equal to R1 divided by R1 plus R2 into overall current I. So this was the current division rule. Now we will understand this by using one numerical. So numerical is the example related to current division rule is there is a voltage source connected with these two resistances like this. The value of this is 2 kilo ohm, 0.2 kilo ohm. Then one more resistance is connected parallel with this one. This is 5 kilo ohm. This is 10 kilo ohm. And one more resistance, this. This is 4 kilo ohm. So now these are the resistances connected in parallel and two resistances 2 kilo ohm and 0.2 kilo ohm are connected in series. हमें पता है सीरीज सर्किट में करंट हमेशा सेम होती है एंड पैरेलल सर्किट में करंट हमेशा डिवाइड होती है. तो सबसे पहले यहाँ पर अगर हम लोग फाइंड आउट करना चाहते हैं करंट I2, करंट I1 एंड वोल्टेज V1. पैरामीटर्स V1 एंड I2 हमें यहाँ पर फाइंड आउट करना है. I1 हमें अपने आप ही मिल जाएगा. तो स्टार्ट करते हैं. सबसे पहले हम जो पैरेलल सर्किट दिया हुआ है इसे रिजॉल्व करेंगे और आर इफेक्टिव फाइंड आउट करेंगे या फिर आर इक्विवेलेंट फाइंड आउट करेंगे. तो हमें पता है पैरेलल सर्किट के लिए आर इक्विवेलेंट क्या होता है, 1/r इक्विवेलेंट इज इक्वल टू 1/10 प्लस 1/5 प्लस 1/4. हम कुछ ऐसा लिख सकते हैं. नाउ टेक द एलसीएम, इट विल बी 20. 2 plus 4 plus 5, it will be 11 divided by 20. So R equivalent is equal to 20 divided by 11 ohm. 20 divided by 11 ohm is R equivalent. So all these values are in kilo ohm, so it will be 20 divided by 11 kilo ohm. From here we can say I1 is equal to what? I1 is equal to, this value is 150 volt. I1 is equal to 150 divided by 2 kilo ohm plus 0.2 kilo ohm plus 20 divided by 11 को भी सॉल्व कर लेते हैं. 11 1 जा 11, 11 8 जा 88, 11 11, 11 8 जा 88. So it will be 1.818 kilo. यहाँ पर 1.818. So when we solve it completely, we will find I1 is equal to 37.3 milliampere. So now the current which is starting from the battery is 37.3 milliampere. Now this current will go to different path. First find voltage across R equivalent. So it will be 1.818 multiply by the current passing through this 37.3 milliampere. So it will be 67.886. Here it was into 10 to the power 3 volt. 1 point into, it was 1.818 into 10 to the power 3 ohm. This is the voltage across R equivalent, that is the assuming of V2. So V2 is equal to this 67.886 volt. So now we can find I2 is equal to 67.886 divided by 4. So it will be 16.97 milliampere. This is the actual value of I2 current. So we have seen here current division rule and voltage division rule. Thank you so much.